Right, there are 4 special types of trinomials. This isn't even really a trinomial, but the quadratics that can be factored, and they look like this. So the first one is when there is no b. So we're still going to play the x game. Make an x. Here, this is your constant term. We have no linear term. This is your c value. We have an a value. We have a c value, but we don't have a b value. So we're actually going to put a 0 with b. We're going to put a negative 25 where c goes. And I need 2 terms that multiply to a negative. And there's only one way to do that. I need a positive and a negative. And they need to add to 0. So what this is saying is they need to be the exact same. So what can I multiply together? It's exact same to get 25. Well, 25 is a perfect square. Positive 5 and a negative 5. So it'll be x plus 5, x minus 5. Okay, let's look at x squared plus 36. So this time your c is there, your a is there, but no b. And so I'm looking at signs that can be a positive but combined to 0. And it just so happens you can't do that. There is no numbers that we can combine or multiply together that when we add are 0, because they got to be positive. So how do you get back to 0? You can't. So this is impossible. So we write prime. You cannot do that. You cannot factor it. Okay, let's do x squared minus 16x. So here there's no c. There's an a. There's a b. But there is no c. You can even put a plus 0 if that helps out. There is no c. So my c is 0. My b is negative 16. So how can I do this? Well, they need to multiply to 0. Well, how can you multiply a number by 0? Or how can you multiply by a number and get 0? Well, one of my factors has to be 0. And how can I add that to 0 and get negative 16? Well, one of them has to be negative 16. So this is actually going to be x plus 0, or x minus 0, same thing, and x minus 16. Those are your 2 terms. Now, how could we have wrote this as well? Well, we could have simply factored out an x. This can be rewritten as x times x minus 16. Notice how the plus 0 doesn't need to be rewritten. And finally, we've got our last guy. This could be, there could be a coefficient in the front, but then we wouldn't know specifically how to factor it. But there is no c term or b term. There's no b, there's no c. So I've got 0 for the c, 0 for the b. So the only way to make that happen is if everything's 0. So this is x plus 0 times x plus 0. Or simply x times x, which is x squared. We can also rewrite this as x plus 0 squared, because it's the same thing twice.